Hey folks, Mike here. A quick shout out to all of my friends in the USA celebrating Independence Day. This video is about an independence of sorts. I've been finding many more choices of watchmaking tools and supplies on Amazon, freeing me up from using AliExpress or some of the more expensive watchmaking supply houses. With Amazon, I make a wish list and keep track of historic prices, setting reminders on when items I want go on sale. Today on the bench, I have a handful of affordable watchmaking tools and supplies that I just bought. If you're interested in any of these items, I'll put a link to my Amazon Associates page of recommended watchmaking tools down below. Without further ado, here's what I got. This first item probably needs no explanation. These are cases for safely holding the hands and dial of a watch that's being serviced. As you can see, I already have a couple of these, and they work quite well. Sometimes when I'm working on several projects at the same time, these cases are being used, so I picked up a few more. While the Horatech versions of these cost about $11 a piece, I paid about $9 for a 2-pack. Speaking of treating dials and hands gently, it's best practice to use non-metallic tweezers when handling parts where the finish could get damaged. I bought this set of Horatech Delrin tipped tweezers, but I don't really care for them because the tips are slippery, and there's been many times that I've lost my grip. In addition to handling dials, I also like to use non-conductive tweezers to handle watch batteries, and these tweezers are just too slick. Oh, doesn't want to hang on. Traditionally, watchmakers have used tweezers with wooden tips. The Bergeon wood-tipped tweezer is rather expensive at just over $100. I bought these tweezers with boxwood tips for about a quarter of the price. Let's open them up and take a first look together. So let's see what it comes with. Well, you may have noticed there's a disc of sandpaper. So I guess the implication is that you can hone these using the sandpaper. The tweezers come in this reusable aluminum case. Nothing super duper special, but the aluminum case is still more substantial than the plastic sheath that I cut off on the Horatech tweezers. Hey, it gets the job done. Got a little piece of tape here. No sticky tape should be left behind. Okay, tweezers free. Now I can grab that tape. And because I hate touching sticky things, I'm just going to flip the foam over. And there's actually a nice padded foam bottom on that case. All right, let's check out the tweezers. First impressions? Well, they feel good in the hand. The metal of the body of the tweezer, it's very nicely polished. Very smooth. And it looks like the points come together fairly well. Let's see, how's the alignment? So I think I'll have to sand them. I think I want to open them just a little bit more. Okay, got a little bit more space in between the two tips now. And so let's test a few things. Okay, I have my watch dial victim here, and this is holding it just fine. I'm not even squeezing that hard, and it's holding on. Very good. Battery. All right, just using very light pressure. Okay, put it down, pick it up. Good. How about a bigger battery? There we go. Hey, it's holding on. So overall, I'm pleased with the grip. I'm pleased with the feel. I could probably bend them open a little bit more just to get a little bit more play in between the two tips. Happy with the quality. As you can see, there are screws holding on the two tips on either side. So if I needed to get some new tips, I'm sure that is an option. Conclusion, I really like the finish. It's very smooth, and the wooden tips, they feel good. I'll have to hone them just a little bit with the sandpaper just to even up those tips to get them to align. But yeah, these are substantial. I'm going to put them into my routine, and let's see, do we need to use that with this? Why not? There we go. Return it to the case, and this will go into my kit. Looks like a keeper. This next item is a tool, but not necessarily a watchmaking tool. If you've bought or resized a metal bracelet, then it's likely that you've used one of these little gadgets to push out the pins between the bracelet links. But after reassembling the bracelet, I'm sometimes at a loss for what to use to press the pin back in flush with the edges. I've tried a small mallet and a variety of adjustable pliers with varying success. Then I stumbled upon this plier design, and I thought it would be perfect for resetting those pins. It's a parallel jaw plier that has smooth-faced gripping surfaces to minimize the chance of scratching your bracelet or watch. And I suppose if you really wanted to be safe, then you can put some masking tape across the jaws to protect your work. These $20 pliers are adjustable up to 40 millimeters, which is wider than any bracelet I can imagine having to adjust. Let's give it a try and see if it works. So the pliers are adjusted by pressing down this spring-loaded button, and then you can slide the jaws to fit the work. There's a look at the other side, and there's the spring action. So let's see if we could use it on this little piece of bracelet that has a pin sticking out. I'll set my rough dimension. That actually looks perfect. Here we go, first try. Line it up, give it a squeeze. Hey, look at that. That's perfect on the very first try. Same bracelet, another link. Line it up once it's set, give it a squeeze, and that's really nice. So there's, just with one squeeze, it got it perfectly flush, and it doesn't look like it's making any mark on the bracelet itself. There's a closer look at the jaws and the amount of play once you find the setting that is right for your bracelet. And once again, if you were concerned about the finish, you could easily just put a piece of painter's tape on either side of those jaws, and I think you will be good to go. I also bought this set of drivers that lets you remove crown tube and button pushers that are threaded. This set consists of a handle and different size drivers with internal and external flutes to fit a wide range of brands. It also has several bits, which I presume are to remove battery covers. Feels like this was made from a single piece of billet aluminum. Put the locking screw in place. Threads feel good, threads feel clean. So initial thoughts, the handle feels like good quality. These, I presume, are the battery openers. 1, 2, 3 of those. I'm not entirely sure what this does, but I have 5 of them. If you know, let me know in the comments below. And as far as the crown tube drivers or the pusher drivers, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different bits that have internal splines, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, those get really fine. Yeah, those are definitely splined, even though it's super tiny. So far until I use them, I don't really know the quality, but it looks like they're well machined. The tools aren't dirty, and I don't feel any burrs. Let's see how easily they go into this driver. There's one flat edge right there on the driver bit. That slides in there. So I think the finish and quality of this piece is good. The handle feels like a nice solid piece of aluminum. The driver bits look like care was taken in machining them, and I like the wooden and lucite case that it all came in. And as far as pricing, the Horrortech version of this kit sells for $549 US. The price I paid for the Amazon version was under $50. So there you go. Keeping with the crown tube removal theme, I was expecting this next item in time to make this video, but it's still waiting to be delivered. It's a crown tube pusher that lets you remove or install friction-fit tubes on a watch case. I paid about $33 US for this version on Amazon, and the brand name version cost 10 times that. You can watch to see if it's worth the savings in future videos. Okay, this last item I really don't have a purpose for just yet, but I'm sure it will find a place in my watch cleaning regimen. It's officially called a watch oil parts washing jar, and it's essentially a glass jar and lid with a stainless steel mesh strainer. I'm sure styrofoam bits will be showing up for weeks to come. I thought I might use it to give watch parts a final rinse in isopropyl alcohol after hand cleaning. There we go. And I'm sure that's not made to work with that. Well, I'm not yet sure how I feel about the quality of this. We'll clean it up and see if the seal is any good. This fits nicely, so I could see just sort of pouring liquid in there and doing a little swish and then being able to take that out and tap it off to do a quick dry, and then putting this back on top, maybe to keep the alcohol or the solvent from evaporating just temporarily, but I'm not completely confident that this is going to be an airtight seal that will hold the liquid in the jar from evaporating over long periods of time. So we'll just put this aside and we'll get back to it. I wish that somehow the lid would go on while the strainer was in the jar, but it doesn't, so we'll hang on to this for a little bit and see if we can find a use for it. Who knows? If it doesn't get used for watchmaking, I may just use it to cold brew an espresso. Speaking of watch cleaning, let me slip in a quick invitation to watch my recent video, 10 Tips to Get the Most Out of Your Ultrasonic Cleaner, where I take a budget-friendly approach to cleaning watch cases, bracelets, and jewelry. I'll put a link right up here. Like I said in my intro, it's great that amateur watchmaking is growing and that Amazon is answering the call. Let me know down below what your favorite tools and supplies are that you've bought on Amazon, or if there's something that you're considering that you'd like me to demo on the channel. I'll keep updating my list of recommended watchmaking tools and supplies on my Amazon store to help you weed through the good, the bad, and the ugly. As always, thank you so much for coming along on my watchmaking journey, and I wish you fun and success in your own practice. I'm Mike, the channel is Watch with Mike. Please help me spread the watchmaking word by giving this video a thumbs up and click that subscribe button to be notified of my next video. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to our next time together. This first item probably needs no explanation. These are cases for safely holding watch hands and dials of a watch that are being serviced. Well, look at that. That shouldn't have happened. Okay, wait a minute. There we go. Take two.